Hey Canucks fans, is Jim Benning the sixth best general manager in the entire NHL? I'm Clay Emo, I'm at Canuck Clay on Twitter. I'm at Clayton Emo on Instagram. I'm the founder of the GLCPC, the Good Looking Canucks Positivity Club. And this is my Canucks take all in one take. It's Clay's Canucks commentary for Sunday, September the 13th. These were Canucks insight that's positive and timely. Two quick programming notes. Number one, I hope you join me tonight at 10 p.m. for my weekly YouTube live stream. I will talk about Canucks. I'll talk about the off season. I'll talk about all the things they have to consider doing, as I've been talking about on this channel for the past couple of weeks. But I'll also talk about, I'll announce the names of my two next guests for my Zoom chat series, which I am going to resume this week. And I've kind of hinted about them on Twitter already. I'm actually interviewing the first one this afternoon. So unless he, a hint, there's a hint, he's a he. Unless he or I say something prior this afternoon, I will announce it tonight. So I look forward to sharing that news with you. I look forward to these two chats that I'll be having this week. Also, later today, my good friend Justin, he's at Hands Down Hockey and Gaming, and he's at Justin the Man 87 on Twitter. Wonderful hockey vlogger, has close to 13,000 subscribers on YouTube. So 2.5 times more than I do. He is doing a really good series he's interviewing hockey YouTubers, asking them about their history, their motivation, their channels and their dreams and so on and so forth. And my understanding is that interview with me is going to come out later today. So I'll tweet that once it comes out, but I encourage you to check out his channel, and you can find him Hands Down Hockey on YouTube or at Justin the Man 87 on Twitter. So thanks again, Justin, for having me, and I hope the video turns out. I'm sure it will. Okay, let's talk about what I want to talk about now that we're already 2 minutes into the video. The NHL has been announcing award winners ahead of some of the games this postseason. Calder Trophy is going to be next series in the final, so we got to wait to see if Quinn Hughes wins. But yesterday they announced General Manager of the Year, and it was won by Lou Lamoriello of the New York Islanders. No surprise, given not only his pedigree, his history, but the way he's turned that team around and how they're basically on the verge, or not on the verge, but they're battling to get into the Stanley Cup Finals. So Lamoriello was the winner over Breezeball out of Tampa Bay, who came in second, obviously, and then Jim Nill of Dallas, and then Joe Sakic of Colorado, third and fourth, respectively. And then Kelly McCrimmon out of Vegas came in fifth. But then right behind him, only a couple first place votes away, a couple of those votes were changed. It was Jim Benning, number 6 in the entire NHL, Jim Benning of the Vancouver Canucks. And just to round out the top 8, it was Chuck Fletcher from Philly at 7, and then Jeff Gordon. Is that it? Yeah, Jeff Gorton from the Rangers at 8. And then you had Don Sweeney also got a point as well, tied for 9th. So of the top 8, 7 of the top 8 were teams that made it to the final 8. And that was the Islanders, Tampa, Dallas, Colorado, Vegas, Vancouver, and Philly. In fact, those were the top 7 spots. Were all, all general managers of teams that have made it to the final 8. So that's some pretty good company for Jim Benning to be in. The fact that he's with the Lamoriello, the winner, and then the GMs of teams, good teams like Colorado, Tampa, Philly, and Vegas, and Dallas. So that is good company. So that's one thing. I'm sure the voting was done at the end of the regular season and not into the playoffs, because that's too quick of a turnaround. That's probably too much recency bias. So to finish 6th, that means that GMs and the media who voted on this across the league are recognizing Jim Benning as doing some really good work. And it's kind of a bit of a contrast to what a lot of people in Vancouver feel. We joke around about being a Benning bro or a bitter bro, those people that are for Jim Benning, those people that are against him. And for me, as you guys know, I like him. I've met him a few times. I support him. I believe in what he's doing with the team, but he's certainly not without fault or without criticism. But then point me to one GM who should be void of all and avoid all criticism and that are batting 1,000 or 100%, so to speak. And then I actually, to that end, I put a poll up on Twitter saying, well, what do you think? The fact that he came in 6th in the entire NHL, 31 GMs, don't forget. I said, how does that make you feel? And I gave 4 options, and they were, he should have been in top 5, meaning that he should have done higher. Makes sense to me. I'm a tad surprised, or I'm really surprised. And then 22% said Jim Benning should be in top 5. Another 39% said it makes sense to me. So 22 and 39, that's 61% of people are saying, yeah, that's good, and that's not a surprise that he came top 6. Then tad surprise came in with 26%, and I'm really surprised came at 13%. So again, should have been top 5, 22%. Makes sense to me, 39%. I'm a tad surprised, 26%, and 13%. I'm really surprised. So 26 and 13, that means 39% of people saying they were surprised he finished so high, whereas 61% said either no, I'm not surprised, or he should have been any higher. So I would think I would be in the makes sense to me / I'm a tad surprised. I wouldn't call him a top 5 GM yet. And it was surprising when I saw it. I was pleasantly surprised. I was happily surprised that he did indeed finish in 6th overall. And when you look at a GM, obviously in charge of general hockey operations overall, he's the general manager. Generally, he's in charge of everything. But you really look at 3 things when it comes to hockey as to what a GM takes care of. And that is obviously trades, that is obviously drafting, and that is obviously signings, whether they're, I guess contract signings. So again, let's go in proper order. So there's drafting, there's contract signings, and then there's trades or free agent signings, however you want to put it. Basically, you rely on your pro scouting. And I think overall, Benning is doing pretty well. When you look at all 3 of those categories, which I'll do so very quickly, and he's certainly improved. From a drafting standpoint, and I guess my big qualifier over all this is it's not just Benning alone. Obviously, he has guys like John Weisbrod, and he has guys like his coaches and Green and assistant coaches. He's got the whole scouting staff. He had Judd Brackett for many, many years. So there's obviously a lot of people that are helping him, pro scouts, amateur scouts. But overall, the buck stops with Benning, obviously, as the GM. So this is like a team win, but Benning is Benning's name. But still, when it comes to drafting, I think recently we're very happy, obviously, with Pettersson in 2017, Quinn Hughes in 2018. We seem excited about Höglander and, of course, Podkolzin in 2019. So from a drafting standpoint, especially in the last few years, pretty good stuff there. And then, of course, prior to that, you had Juolevi in 16, the jury's still out. 15, it was best. These are talking about first rounders, obviously. Besser, it was in 15. 2014, it was Virtanen and McCann. And actually, now that I think about it, I'm not sure if, I don't think he was here if he came in, let me look that up real quick, because I don't think he was here when there was that draft. Jim Benning hired by Canucks. So Benning's first time, he came into the GM here it is. It was May 2014. So excuse me. So the 2014 draft was his first draft. And that was then the Jake Virtanen year and Jared McCann year. And then, like I said, then Besser, Juolevi, Pettersson, Hughes, Podkolzin as your first rounders. But then it's not just first rounders you look at, obviously, in the draft. You look at guys that were picked up in later rounds. And that's guys like Thatcher Demko. That's guys like Adam Gaudette. So other roster players that hopefully will make a difference or are making a difference. So I'd say, again, there was Judd Brackett, there's John Weisbrod, there are others, but I'd say Jim Benning's drafting has been very good. The second part you look at is, let's go with trades, I guess. And I'd say generally his trading has been good as well. You can't look at one trade. Well, you might not like the way that he traded Jared McCann away for Goodbradson. Maybe that was the one that kind of sticks out in my mind. But I'd say generally in the past little bit, his trades have been very good. When you think about the trades, Tyler Toffoli, you gave up a lot, but you have to give up a lot to get a lot. But that Toffoli trade was much needed, and it helped get the Canucks into the postseason when Besser went down. We love the JT Miller trade. We don't want to talk about that one too much. And then I would also say that the Josh Leivo trade was very good for Carconi back 2 years ago. And I'd say the Tanner Pearson trade to get rid of Goodbradson was very good. So those are 4 top 9 players that came in via trade. Again, Toffoli, Miller, Pearson, and Leivo. Those are 4. Of course, Leivo got hurt at the end of the season, but Toffoli, Miller, and Pearson were all, very important parts of our team this season. So I'd say his trading has gotten better as well. There's not a trade, I'd say, in the last couple of years where you say, oh man, the Canucks really got fleeced there, or Jim Benning didn't do a really good job. Of course, we can argue about, how much we gave up for Tyler Toffoli, but I was okay with what he gave up for Tyler Toffoli. So that's the thing. So then I think his drafting has been very good. His trading has been pretty good, especially in recent memory. Then it becomes, signing of free agents or signing of your own players. And I think in some respects, he's done well. I think he did well on the Bo Horvat contract, 5.5 over 6 years. I think he did well on the Brock Besser contract, getting him for under $6 million a year. But so those are a couple that I think of. I think the Troy Stecher and Jake Virtanen contracts that they're coming out of were pretty good. So I think overall, signing his own guys has been pretty good. I think where people don't like what Benning's done or would give him a lower grade is the signing of other guys, i.e. free agents. So not extending our own guys, but then signing free agents. And that's why we've had guys like, Brandon Sutter falls in the first category where we traded for him and then we re-signed him. So that contract's no good. But a lot of people don't like the Tyler Myers contract, although I think he's going to be here for a while. A lot of people don't like the Jay Beagle contract, the Louis Eriksson contract, of course, the Antoine Roussel contract. So those, 4 or 5 players that we're talking about in the bottom 6, right? That they've either we traded for them and then we re-signed them, or we signed them as free agent. That's Sutter, that's Beagle, that's Eriksson, that's Roussel. And so there's a few there already. That's a lot of money tied up in those type of guys. So maybe that's where you could say Jim Benning sometimes overvalues guys. He overpays guys on July 1st. And I guess that kind of puts us where we are now, in that it's going to be a very interesting offseason. I've already been talking about it for the past couple months, let alone, last couple weeks, let alone the last couple months. But we know there's 6 UFAs, 5 RFAs, there's salary cap trouble. We got to get out from under some money. There's potential buyouts, burying guys in the minors. So there's a lot. And I think this next month before the draft, and especially before free agency, is going to tell us a lot about this 6 overall ranking for Jim Benning as a GM. He's either going to solidify that 6th ranking and even move up in some people's eyes, or if he has a rough offseason, maybe that ranking and just the perception of Canucks fans overall is going to drop. So it's obviously going to be a very busy time. It's going to be a fun time to cover as a vlogger and as a fan. There's always going to be something to talk about every single day. But I think that's, it'll be very interesting to see. But obviously across the league, his fellow GMs and the media, they see, maybe they don't worry so much about the bottom 6 and all the money that's in there. In voting him 6th, they look at his drafting, Pettersson, Hughes, Podkolzin, Besser. They look at his recent trades, Toffoli, JT Miller, especially Pearson and Levo, and his recent signings of Horvat and Besser as well, signing guys that he's drafted. Maybe that's, and the Canucks overall, the fact that they're an up-and-coming team, they're maybe a destination for some free agents if we ever find the money to sign them. So overall, it's a lot of good things. They're certainly not there yet, and we saw how they kind of got exposed a bit against a really good team like Vegas. But overall, things are looking a lot brighter than they were, say, 2, 3, 4 years ago, in large part due to Jim Benning and the work of his team. So Canucks fans, let me know what you think. When you heard that Jim Benning was voted 6th overall as GM of the year in the NHL, what do you think? Did that surprise you? Do you think that was too high? Do you think that was too low? Or do you think that's about right? Leave a comment below. I love to read, react, and reply as always. Don't forget, join me tonight, 10 p.m. on YouTube for my live stream. Don't forget to check out my interview with Justin when that comes out later today. And yeah, don't forget to enjoy my Zoom chats as I release a couple of them this week. So subscribe if you like to. Like this video if you like to. Stay safe, stay healthy. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. God bless, and go Canucks go.